Hello everyone, and welcome back to this new English learning video. My name is Sarah, and today we are going to practice together a very important topic: how to talk about your job in English. This is one of the most useful skills you can learn, because jobs and work are a part of everyday life. When you meet new people, when you introduce yourself, or when you go to an interview, you often need to explain what you do for work. Being able to talk about your job clearly and confidently will help you connect with others, make friends, and even create new opportunities for your career. Now, you may feel nervous when speaking about your work in English. Maybe you are not sure about the right words, or you worry about making mistakes. That is normal. Many learners understand English but hesitate when they must speak. But don't worry. In this video, I will help you step by step. We will keep the language simple at the A2-B1 level so you can follow easily. I will also give you useful expressions, examples, and small dialogues that you can use immediately in your real life. So, why is it important to learn how to talk about your job? Let's think about it. Imagine you are at a party, or a conference, or even traveling abroad. Someone asks you, "So, what do you do?" This is a very common question in English. If you can answer naturally, you will feel more confident. You can say your job title, explain your daily tasks, share why you like your work, and even talk about your dreams for the future. In other words, you will be able to have a real conversation. Talking about your job is also important for interviews. If you want to apply for a new position, you will need to describe your skills, your responsibilities, and your experience. Practicing this topic in English will prepare you not only for casual conversations but also for professional situations. And the good news is, it is not complicated. With some simple words and sentences, you can explain a lot. In this video, we will divide our journey into 3 parts. In the first part, we will learn how to introduce your job title and your basic responsibilities. This is the starting point, saying, "I am a teacher," or "I work as a nurse," and then adding a few details. In the second part, we will go deeper. We will explore how to talk about your daily routine at work. What do you do every day? Do you work in an office, in a hospital, in a school, or maybe outdoors? How do you start your day, and what kind of tasks do you usually complete? These are very common questions, and I will show you how to answer them naturally. In the third part, we will practice speaking about your feelings and opinions about your job. Do you like it? What is the most interesting part of your work? Is there something difficult? And finally, what are your future goals? People love to hear about your passion and your dreams, so this part will make your answers more personal and unique. During the video, I encourage you to repeat after me. When I say a sentence, try to say it aloud. Don't just listen. Practice speaking. Even if you are alone at home, this practice will help you gain confidence. Remember, language learning is not only about understanding, but also about using. The more you use English, the faster you improve. At the end of the video, you will have a complete toolkit of phrases and sentences to talk about your job. You will be ready to introduce yourself in social situations, to make small talk, and even to answer questions in a professional interview. So, are you ready to start? Let's dive into part 1, where we will focus on how to introduce your job and responsibilities in a clear and simple way. Get your notebook, repeat after me, and let's learn together. When you want to talk about your job in English, the first step is to start with the basics. Most conversations begin with simple questions like, "What do you do?" or "Where do you work?" These are common and polite questions in everyday conversations, in professional networking, or even when you meet new people socially. Knowing how to answer them clearly and confidently will help you make a good impression. The easiest way to answer is with a short, simple sentence. For example, "I am a teacher." "I work as a nurse." "I'm an engineer." These sentences are clear and direct. Notice that you can use different structures. I am a plus job title, I am a doctor. I work as a plus job title, I work as a graphic designer. I work in plus field area, I work in finance. I work for plus company, I work for Microsoft. I work at plus place, I work at a hospital. Using these variations will make your English sound more natural. It is also helpful when you want to give more details. For example, I am a teacher. I work in a high school and I teach English. I work as a software developer. I create mobile applications for a technology company. Expanding your introduction. When you talk about your job, don't stop at just saying your title. You can make the conversation more interesting by sharing details about your daily activities. A good way to expand your answer is to use the phrase, my main responsibility is, or I am responsible for. For example, I am a project manager. My main responsibility is to organize the team and make sure projects finish on time. I'm a nurse. I am responsible for taking care of patients and helping doctors during treatments. You can also talk about your daily tasks. I check emails, attend meetings, and write reports every day. I meet clients, give presentations, and prepare contracts. These small details help you sound more fluent and confident. Talking about where you work. Another important part is describing your workplace. In English, you can use, I work in an office. I work in a factory. I work in a hospital. I work from home. If you want to describe your company, you can say, I work for a small startup. We design eco-friendly products. I work at a large international company in the automobile industry. Adding these details shows that you can explain more than just your job title. It shows you can describe your professional environment. Talking about why you like your job. In conversations, people often ask, do you like your job? Or, what do you enjoy about your job? This is your chance to express your feelings and practice useful vocabulary. For example, I like my job because I meet new people every day. I enjoy working as a designer because I can be creative. I love teaching because I help students learn and grow. If you don't like your job, you can also express it politely. My job is a bit stressful, but I try to stay positive. I don't really enjoy the long hours, but I like working with my team. This way you are honest but still polite. Practice example dialogue. Let's practice a short conversation to see how it works. A. So what do you do? B. I'm an accountant. I work at a bank. A. That's interesting. What are your main responsibilities? B. I'm responsible for preparing financial reports and helping clients manage their accounts. A. Do you enjoy it? B. Yes, I like it. I enjoy working with numbers and solving problems. This dialogue is simple, but it shows you how to structure your answer step by step. Useful vocabulary for Part 1. Here are some helpful words and phrases you can use when introducing your job. Job title: teacher, doctor, engineer, driver, waiter, etc. Responsibility: I'm responsible for workplace, office, hospital, school, company, restaurant. Tasks: check emails, attend meetings, prepare reports, help customers. Feelings: I like, I enjoy, I love, I don't enjoy, it's stressful. Practice tip. To get better at this, write down 3 sentences about your job. Your job title: your responsibilities: I'm responsible for. Your feelings: I enjoy. Read them aloud every day. This will make you feel more comfortable and ready to talk about your job in English at any time. Hello again, it's Sarah. Now that we have already learned how to say the name of your job and where you work, it's time to go a little deeper. A very important step in talking about your job in English is to explain what you actually do every day. People don't only want to know your job title, they also want to understand your responsibilities, your tasks, and your role in the company or organization. This part will help you find simple words and clear sentences to describe your daily work. 1. Start simple. The main responsibility. When someone asks you, what do you do at work? You should begin with the main duty of your job. Use a simple sentence. For example, I design houses and buildings. I teach children how to read and write. I help patients when they are sick. These short explanations give a quick idea of your profession. They are clear, direct, and easy for people to understand. 2. Use I am responsible for. Another good structure is I am responsible for. This phrase makes you sound professional and confident. You can use it to explain specific tasks. For example, I am responsible for managing a team of 5 people. I am responsible for preparing financial reports. I am responsible for answering customer questions. This structure is very useful for job interviews, presentations, and professional introductions. 3. Talk about your daily routine. You can also describe what you do step by step during a normal day. To do this, use phrases like every day I, in the morning I, during the afternoon I. Examples. Every day I check my emails and reply to clients. In the morning I usually prepare lessons for my students. In the afternoon I work on new designs and attend meetings. These sentences help the listener imagine your typical workday. 4. Useful vocabulary for common jobs. Let's look at some job-specific examples with simple vocabulary. If you are a teacher, I prepare lessons. I teach math and science. I correct homework. If you are an engineer, I design machines. I create technical drawings. I solve problems with production. If you are a nurse, I check the patient's temperature and blood pressure. I give medicine to patients. I assist the doctor during treatments. If you are an office worker, I answer phone calls. I organize documents. I schedule meetings. These are clear and useful examples you can adapt to your own profession. 5. Use action verbs. When you talk about your responsibilities, try to use strong action verbs. Some common verbs for work are manage, organize, design, build, teach, support, create, develop, plan, prepare, help, write, sell, produce, maintain, check, report, assist. For example, I manage a small team. I develop new software. I help customers solve problems. Using action verbs makes your explanation more dynamic and professional. 6. Talk about teamwork and communication. Many jobs include working with other people. You can mention collaboration by saying, I work with a team of engineers. I communicate with clients every day. I support my manager with reports and presentations. This shows that your job is not only about tasks, but also about relationships with colleagues, clients, or partners. 7. Talking about tools and skills. You can also explain what tools, machines, or skills you use. For example, I use a computer to create presentations. I work with medical equipment to check patients. I use software to design buildings. You can also say what skills are important for your job. My job requires good communication skills. I need to be organized and patient. I use problem-solving skills every day. 8. Practice example sentences. Let's put everything together with some examples. Imagine you are introducing your job. I am a teacher. I work in a secondary school. I am responsible for teaching English to teenagers. Every morning, I prepare lessons and correct homework. In the afternoon, I teach classes and help students improve their speaking skills. I work with other teachers to organize school activities. I am an engineer. I work for a construction company. I am responsible for designing houses and supervising construction. Every day, I check plans, visit the building site, and talk with workers. I use technical software to design buildings, and I work with a team of architects and technicians. I am a nurse. I work in a hospital. I am responsible for checking patients' health and giving them medicine. Every morning, I take the patient's temperature and blood pressure. I also assist the doctor during treatments and talk with families about their loved ones. I use medical equipment and I need to be kind and patient. These examples show you how to describe your daily responsibilities step by step. 9. Keep it clear and simple. Remember, when you explain your job in English, you don't need complicated grammar. Use short, clear sentences. Be direct and confident. This way, even if your English is at A2 or B1 level, people will understand you and respect your effort. When we talk about our job, it is not only about the title or the tasks. A very important part is sharing our job experiences and our future plans. This makes the conversation more complete and more natural. People are always interested in your journey, how you started, what you have learned, and where you want to go in the future. Let's explore together how you can talk about these 2 points in clear English. Talking about job experiences. Job experiences are the stories of your professional life. They include your first job, the challenges you faced, the projects you worked on, and the skills you developed. When you talk about your experiences, it is good to use the past tense in English because you are describing things that already happened. For example, I worked as a sales assistant in a clothing store for 2 years. I learned how to talk with customers and solve their problems. I was part of a team that created a new marketing strategy. It was a great experience, and I developed teamwork skills. When you explain your job experiences, you can use some connectors like first, then, after that, finally, to show a sequence of events. Because so, but although, to explain reasons or contrasts. Example: at my first job, I worked as a waiter in a restaurant. At first, it was difficult because I was shy, but after some time, I became more confident. Finally, I learned how to manage stress and work under pressure. This way, your listener can follow your story step by step. How to share achievements. When talking about your experiences, it is also good to mention achievements, the positive results of your work. Achievements show your progress and skills. For example, I trained 5 new employees in my department. I improved sales in my area by 15%. I created a database that made our work faster. Even small achievements are important. They show that you made a difference in your job. Talking about challenges. It is also natural to mention some challenges you faced at work. Challenges show that you are honest and that you learned something. For example, one of the biggest challenges in my job was speaking English with clients. At first, I made mistakes, but I practiced every day. Now I feel more comfortable. I had to work with strict deadlines. It was stressful, but I learned to manage my time better. Notice that when you talk about challenges, you should always finish with a positive note. Explain what you learned or how you improved. Talking about future plans. Now let's move to the second part, future plans. After sharing your experiences, you can explain where you want to go in the future. This shows ambition and motivation. When you talk about future plans, use the future tense in English. I will, I want to, I am going to. Examples. In the future, I want to become a manager. I am going to continue my studies in business administration. I will look for opportunities to work abroad. You can also talk about your dreams and goals. For example, my dream is to open my own company. One day, I want to work for the United Nations. I would like to become a teacher and help other people learn. When you talk about your future, be positive and confident. It shows that you are motivated and ready for new opportunities. How to combine experiences and future plans. The best way to talk about your job is to connect your past experiences with your future goals. This shows that your career has a direction. For example, I worked for 3 years as an assistant accountant. During this time, I learned a lot about financial management. In the future, I want to become a professional auditor. That is why I am studying accounting at university. This type of explanation is very powerful because it shows logic, where you come from, what you have learned, and where you are going. Phrases to use for experiences and plans. Here are some useful phrases you can practice. For experiences. I learned how to. I was responsible for. My biggest challenge was, but I managed to. One of my main achievements was. For future plans. I am going to. My dream is to. In the future, I hope to. I would like to. A practical example. Imagine Sarah is talking about her job in English. I worked as an English tutor for high school students for 2 years. I learned how to explain grammar in a simple way. One of my challenges was managing large groups, but I developed better communication skills. My biggest achievement was helping one of my students pass a very difficult exam. In the future, I want to open my own English learning center. I hope to help more people improve their language skills and gain confidence. This short paragraph includes experiences, challenges, achievements, and future plans. It is a perfect model for your own job story. As we come to the conclusion of this lesson about talking about your job in English, let's take a moment to reflect on what we have learned together. Throughout this session, we have explored different ways to describe your job, explain your daily tasks, and share your career experiences with others in English. We practiced simple but powerful sentences that help you communicate clearly, even if English is not your first language. We also looked at useful vocabulary and expressions that can be applied in real conversations, whether you are introducing yourself in a job interview, chatting with colleagues at work, or meeting new people at a social event. The most important thing to remember is that talking about your job in English does not need to be complicated. You do not have to use very advanced or complex vocabulary. What matters most is clarity, confidence, and practice. For example, a sentence like, I work as a teacher. I teach English to young students. My job is interesting and rewarding is simple, yet it communicates a clear idea about your profession. You can always expand your sentences by adding more details, such as, I have been teaching for 5 years and I enjoy helping students improve their skills. Another key takeaway is that learning to talk about your job is not only about vocabulary, it is about structure. When someone asks you, what do you do? You can structure your answer in 3 steps. State your job title, I am a nurse. Explain your tasks or responsibilities. I take care of patients and assist doctors. Add something about your feelings or experiences. It is challenging, but I love helping people. This clear structure makes your speech more organized and easy to understand. But here is the truth. You will not become confident just by listening or reading. Confidence comes from practice. The more you practice speaking about your job in English, the more natural it will feel. At first, it might feel strange or difficult. You may hesitate, forget words, or make small mistakes. But mistakes are part of learning. Every time you practice, you grow stronger and more fluent. So, here is my challenge for you. After this video, take action. Do not just watch and move on. Right now, take a notebook or open your phone and write down 5 sentences about your job. For example, what is your job title? Where do you work? What are your daily tasks? How do you feel about your job? What is one interesting fact about your work? Once you have written them, practice speaking them aloud. Repeat them several times until they feel comfortable. You can also record yourself and listen to your pronunciation. This exercise may seem simple, but it is extremely powerful. Now, I want you to go one step further. Share your sentences in the comment section below. Write about your job in English, even if it is just a few short lines. For example, I work as a mechanic. I repair cars. My job is difficult, but I enjoy learning something new every day. By writing in the comments, you are practicing your English, connecting with other learners, and building confidence. This is how you create a real learning community. We are here to learn together. When you comment, others can reply, and you can inspire each other. So before we finish, let me give you one final piece of advice. Make English part of your daily life. If you want to improve quickly, do not limit English to just lessons or classrooms. Try to use English to talk about your real life, your work, your hobbies, your family, your dreams. When you connect English to your personal experiences, it becomes easier, more meaningful, and more fun. Remember this, every time you speak English, you are one step closer to fluency. Every word you say, every sentence you practice, builds your confidence. So, let's take action right now. Comment below and tell us about your job in English. I will be reading your comments, and I want to see you practice. Call to action. Write about your job in the comments. Practice speaking your sentences aloud. Subscribe to this channel for more lessons like this. Share this video with a friend who is also learning English. Thank you so much for learning with me today. You are doing an amazing job. Keep practicing, stay motivated, and remember, you can do this. I will see you in the next video. Until then, keep speaking English with confidence.